Hello students, today we are going to discuss a very new topic which is the part of unit 2 of your syllabus, that is flumes. Flumes, what are flumes actually? You have read about and you have heard about Venturi flume in particular. So what are actually flumes? So flumes are basically specially shaped engineered structures which are used to measure the flow of water in an open channel. Flumes are static in nature, that means they have no moving parts, and they develop a relation between the water level in the flume and the flow rate by restricting the flow of water in various ways, right? So what are actually flumes doing is that they are restricting the flow of water and making it possible to measure that portion in which the flume is connected to. That is, what are flumes doing? They are developing a sort of relationship between the water level inside the flume structure and the flow rate by restricting the flow. So basically these are the flow measuring instruments which are installed in open channels, right? So what can flumes do actually? Flumes can accelerate slow subcritical flow to a supercritical state, right? तो सब क्रिटिकल फ्लो अगर हो रहा है तो उसको सुपर क्रिटिकल में चेंज कर सकती है. कैसे चेंज कर सकती है? एलिवेशन चेंज करके कर सकती है, साइड वॉल के कॉन्ट्रैक्शन के थ्रू कर सकती है, या फिर दोनों मिला के भी कर सकती है. ठीक है, तो एक्सेलरेटिंग स्लो फ्लो टू अ सुपर क्रिटिकल स्टेट क्रिएट्स अपस्ट्रीम कंडीशन where under free flow condition the flow rate can be determined by measuring the water level at a single defined point in the flume HA, right? The relationship between the water level at the point of measurement HA and the flow rate can be obtained by test data in short throated flumes. There are two basic types of flumes: short throated flumes and long throated flumes, depending upon the length in which the flumes run actually. They are very accurate. Its accuracy can range, it can be accurate up to plus 2 minus plus 2 to 5% in accuracy they can have. However, overall system accuracy is plus minus 10% when all factors are considered. This accuracy is similar to that of Weir's, although Weir's are slightly more accurate under ideal conditions, right? So Weir's are also used for the same purpose to measure the flow rate, but flumes are very easy to install, and flumes are pre-constructed, or you can say pre-manufactured structure. So that makes them easy to install, and although they are not as accurate as Weir's, but they are still doing a good job. What are the advantage of using flumes? It is the ability to measure higher flow rates than a comparably sized weir. That is, for a weir, the same flow rate can be measured in a larger size weir that which can be measured in a small flume. And also the head loss is very low. Obviously, when you install a weir in the direction of flow to measure the flow rate, then you also have to face a head loss, right? So that head loss is very less as compared to weir. Also, it readily passes debris which a weir cannot, because in weir only the water that is flowing in the form of a nappe over the weir that do not contain debris, so it becomes a little difficult to clear debris from the weir's back portion. Also, there are a wide ranges of fluid possibles as per the requirement, as per the site condition. You can use different types of weir. Also, they are off the shelf available, that is, they can be pre-manufactured and then can be installed in an open channel, and their installation footprint is also very small. That is, weir requires a larger area to be installed, but a flume requires a much lesser footprint to be installed, right? And also the maintenance is very low. So here we have been discussing about flumes a lot. So you can see in the figure there is a section of flume, right? So most flume consists of three parts: a converging section that you can see, that is the inlet, or and then there is a throat A throat is the section in which the width is constant sort of, and after that there is a discharge section which is called outlet. In the given picture, you can say that the flow is restricted in the converging section, that is the section towards your left on the screen, that is in the dark blue, and it accelerates as it passes into the throat. You can see that if you use a converging section, that is if the walls are converging towards the throat, then obviously the velocity will increase and the flow will be through a accelerated velocity, and then this passes through the throat. And also the flow in the converging section must enter at a subcritical state, typically with a Froude number not more than 0.5. You obviously know that for a subcritical flow the Froude number should be less than 1 only, but in the throat section the Froude number should be less than 0.5 typically. It is here that the point of measurement HA is located, that is you are not going to measure flow at any other portion than the section in which the flow is converging, right? That is the throat section. The throat of the flume accelerates the flow to a critical or supercritical state, that is the gray portion, and then the discharge section slows down the very energetic supercritical flow and transitions it into downstream channel, right? So this is how a float is made, and there are different type of possibilities of wall sizes and the length of the flumes and the length of converging and diverging sections and the length of the throat. So they can be various sizes depending upon the type of flow and the velocity of flow, right? So while not all the flumes have discharge section, for example H flumes or Montana flumes do not have discharge section, right? The lack of this section means that the resistance to submergence is limited and that the downstream channel may be susceptible to score and erosion and the flow spills off at the end of the flume. So what I am trying to say is that you know that there is the dark blue section is the inlet section, right? And then there is the throat section. So when the flow passes through the inlet section, the throat section, the velocity has increased to a higher proportion. So if the discharge section is not present, for example in the H flumes or the Montana flumes, what happens is that a very higher velocity will reach the downstream section, and when this higher velocity, this super accelerated velocity reaches the downstream section, it may cause the scoring of the downstream section, that is whatever the material the scoring bed is made of, the downstream bed is made of, it can get eroded, right? Because the flow is spilling at a very higher rates, right? So what are the classes? Partial flume, Montana flumes is the modified partial flume. Partial is the name of scientist. Yeah. And when we talk about short throated flume, short does not represent the flume length but to the fact that the flow is controlled in a very specific region of the flume to produce the level to flow relationship. ठीक है, उसके बाद HS, HL, HL, trapezoidal, cut throat. So you don't have to go in detail because this is a very small topic. And then there are long throated flume. What does long throated flume do? Long throated flume control flow in a throat that is long enough to cause parallel flow lines in the section of flow controls. You have studied flow lines in fluid mechanics. So the parallel flow lines that are passing through these are easy to measure. So long throated flumes are considered better than the short throated flume because there is a longer portion in which the flow lines are parallel and the flow can be measured in, right? So long throated flumes are somewhat more accurate than short throated ones and can be computer designed also. Additionally, the point of measurement is not fixed but can be taken anywhere upstream of that throat's drawdown section. Now you can see different types of flumes. One is partial flume. You can see these are metallic obviously. Okay, and then there is Palmer, then this is partial flume. This is Palmer Bolus flume, a modified partial flume, right? and these are HSH and HL flumes, right? Now these are trapezoidal flumes. You can see this section. This is the inlet section in the left of the picture. Then there is a throat section, and then there is the discharge section to reduce the velocity that has been super accelerated, right? So these are trapezoidal flumes, and these are cut throat flumes, and these are Montana flumes. So you can see that by varying the depth of the section and by varying the width of the walls, there can be different types of flume depending upon the usage, right? Many flumes possibilities are there. So these are all about flumes, and these are used for measuring the flow rate, right? Thank you.